I want to explain trickle-down economics for anybody who is curious about what is trickle-down economics. Is it good? Is it bad? What do people mean when they say that? I know that it's kind of demonized in the press a lot of times. In politics, they make it sound like it's greedy man's way of being even more greedy. So I want to take about 12 minutes or so and just explain to you what trickle-down economics is, and explain to you the whole scenario so you can decide for yourself if it's good or bad. And let's start with the definition of trickle-down economics. What trickle-down economics is a belief that if you let rich people keep their money and invest it and spend it and do whatever they feel is best with that money, then that wealth will trickle down to the rest of society and it will benefit everyone. And the government, or many people who disagree with that, would say that no, the best thing to do with that money is for the government to come and take a big portion of that, and then they can spend it on what they think is wise and smart, and then that will benefit society even more so. So what I want to do is just look at both scenarios and just help you follow what happens with that money under each scenario, and you can decide which is best. I will tell you right off the bat that I have a bias because I am in favor of trickle-down economics. So if I speak about it in positive terms, I want to be fair, but I am also, I'm biased in favor of it. So let's pretend that a rich person, this is your ideal candidate who is supposed to trickle down the economics, trickle down the money to everybody else. Let's say that his name is Tom. Tom has an earnings of $1.2 million a year, we'll say. So, and he lives on $200,000 a year. He's got a nice house. He likes to go out to eat. He likes to go on vacation. His wife likes fancy things. And so he spends $200,000 a year, and then that leaves him $1 million a year left over because he's really successful at his different jobs. So he's got $1 million left over every year. So the government comes along and says, I want to take some of that money to benefit society. People have voted and they've decided that's a good idea. So let's just say a round number of half. They want to take half that money for the sake of argument. So they let's follow the path. They go knock on the door. Hey, Tom, this is the government, and we voted. The people have spoken. We are going to need to take half of your money in taxes, half of your extra money, and we're going to do wise things with it that are going to benefit society. We're going to do all these, intelligent investments with it and spend it in smart ways. And so, of course, Tom doesn't want to give them that money, but they're not taking no for an answer. They say, we need that money, so go get it. And what does Tom say? He's like, well, I don't have $500,000 under the bed. I don't keep $500,000 around the house. And they said, well, where's it at? Let's go to your bank. Write me a check. Said, it's not in the bank. I keep $10,000 in the bank. I've got house payment coming due, a few things like that. I keep some money in the bank, but I don't keep that much money in the bank. They said, well, where is it? We need that money, and we're giving you 4 days to get that money. So Tom, where does Tom keep his money? Where is Tom's money? Well, he's got it invested. He wants to be rich. He's like, hey, financial advisor guy, what's the best thing I could be doing with my money? And then somebody says, Tom, I got this great business idea. I'm going to patch swimming pools because the freezing and thawing has created cracks. People are going to spend a lot of money. Somebody else says, I got this idea about cleaning houses and staging them to be sold, and I need some money for marketing. And then he invests in mutual funds and some stocks, some individual stocks that he thinks are really good because he's got experts that watch these things. So his money is all invested in businesses and people that he thinks are going to be successful at doing what they do. And then Tom is going to get a piece of that action back. And so he'll have even more money. And probably Tom is right. Tom might be wrong sometimes, but he's been at it for a while. he's lost a few times and it breaks his heart, and he's so happy when he does it right, and he's really got it figured out who are the smart money investors. So he's probably going to be right more times than not about where is the smart place to invest that money. And those businesses are going to benefit. And in fact, it's only the smart ones that get his money, because he's pretty sharp and he's got smart people working for him to help him with that. So smart businesses have that money. And Tom says, hey, you guys, I need my money back. The government's knocking on my door. I've got 4 days to come up with $500,000. Oh, yeah, and next year, I know you probably might have wanted some more investments. I can't give you near as much because the government's going to be taking it. So those people who were planning on building and marketing and growing and inventing and making products and giving us what we all want, they have to stop doing that. Or they have to back way off, because they got to give that money back. Not just to Tom, but all the other rich people, because all that money is pooled and given out and invested in pooled amounts, it tends to be. So the bank says, I'm sorry, new businesses. You know, I know we were working on that loan paperwork. You had a great business proposal. Everything seems so good, but the government has changed the rules, and I'm not going to be able to give you that loan. You're not going to be able to go into business. The government's going to be taking a lot of that money, so I'm sorry. So we've hurt society. We've shot ourselves in the foot. Companies are not hiring. Products are not being made. Smart investments are not going to happen anymore, and so the government's going to take that money. So let's follow the government. The government can do a few different things with it. The worst thing they could do, probably, well, that could be argued. I'll just say one of the things they could do is they could give it to people through programs that give money to people who haven't earned it and are not going to do anything in return for that money. They're just giving it to them for free. Now, when you do that, you've taken away a possible opportunity for a job to be created by the rich person's investments to give it to a person who could have had that job. But instead of having to work for that job, they just get the money for free. But we've lost out on all the benefit that person could have given society. They could have been making things, adding services, running the companies, being a part of the team, the new businesses that would have been created over here. Instead, you just took away all the products and services and jobs and just put the money on the other side. So, and then tomorrow, what's that person going to do? They're going to say, I used the money, I ate the food, I'm hungry again, I need more money. And so you've got a dead-end siphoning of money to a non-productive resource whenever it could have been productive if you just let business alone. One of the other things the government could do with it would be to invest it in companies that they think are smart, such as green companies, green coal, urban renewal, ethnic backed businesses. Hey, and that those are great if they're profitable, if they've got a good business plan. That's great. However, businesses that have to go to the government for money were not already successful enough, or they didn't have a good enough business plan or model or product to convince small business and the rich people that it was a good idea. Because if they did, they would have had investors. The investors love a good idea. They love a company that's has a plan that's going to work, and people want a piece of that action so that they can make money back. But if you don't have a good enough product, but you look good on an ad campaign or a slogan, then you can help a politician get elected if they support you. So a politician is happy to give you money because then they can go tell their constituency, tell the public, I support ethnic businesses, I support green technology, I support urban renewal. It doesn't matter to them that those companies don't really benefit society, because things that benefit society usually do so in terms of money. And so investors would already have a piece of that action if they were a smart investment. They might be able to bring forth a little bit of money, but they were far enough down the list that all these much better businesses got the first dibs on the private investment. And that's where it should go. Go to the companies that are going to do the most good for society. That's who you want to help, because that's who helps us all. So, of course, the government could also just spend it on higher wages, tons of people working in the government, more offices, and the debt. They spend money, and then the debt is hugely expensive. Just the interest on the debt. So you got to take money for that. If you did not allow the government to take that money, they would be forced to stop borrowing, because people would say, "I'm not going to loan you money because you can't pay it back. You can't steal money from the rich people to pay us back. So how are you going to get the money?" And so then the government would say, "I have no choice but to shrink. I can't spend money. They won't give me money, so I have to get smaller and leaner and do more with less." And when that happens, then that means that's more money for all of us. We are the people. The government is riding along on top, wanting to take that money and redistribute it in ways that don't benefit us, just benefits the people that are elected. They just want to get elected, and they'll tell you whatever you want to hear to elect them. They'll take money from rich people, give it to other people or things, and even though it's a bad investment, the elected person doesn't mind, because they're still going to make their salary. They're still going to make their pension. They're still going to probably get reelected because of that. So it's immoral and it's unethical. But for the rest of us who just want to get by and make a good living, it hurts us. It takes away jobs, gives it to places that are least productive. So just to summarize it, trickle-down economics is the only way for a society to succeed. The government doesn't make anything. They don't make hammers. They don't make shoes. They don't make roads. They don't make guns. They hire companies to make those things for it. All they do is they take money. There's a ton of people working for them that are not productive. They just organize the taking of money and redistributing it. So letting businesses invest it wisely, and smart people, rich people, invest it, is going to have a benefit for all of us. Letting the government take it is going to give it to non-productive ends, non-productive means, which just hurt us all. Or they'll just spend it and just saddle our nation with enormous amounts of debt, which of course, kills our kids in the future, it ruins their future. So there you are. There's trickle-down economics in a nutshell. Thanks for your time.